Alright. Welcome back to the Talkie. We are now continuing into day 2. We have completed day 1. In day 1, we learned that we're dealing with essentially a lake house effect. I couldn't remember what the movie was called in the last video, and thanks to all of you amazing viewers and subscribers, you guys helped me remember. It was called The Lake House, that movie I was talking about. I also learned that there was a few other novels and videos and movies and shows that had other names. I don't remember the names now, but there's other shows that are similar to this as well. So we learned that Sarah will die in 4 days, and we're talking to Sarah. Like, we're talking to her in the future. She's in the past, and we learned this just now. And we're getting ready to inform Sarah that we indeed did find the item, which is a picture of her. We did find that item in the hiding spot that she... Well, we can't go up very far. We found that item that she hid in that hiding spot, and on the back of that item, that picture, she wrote us a note as well, and we're probably getting ready to inform her of that now. So now we are starting in day 2. April 26th. The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Quoted by Albert Einstein. You spend most of your day gazing at the fireplace, flames dancing in the shadows. A heavy rain is present, reverberating. Reverberating. Let me just say that correctly. Reverberating on the roof like a demure crowd applauding in silence. The flames climb in unison, projecting intermittent and dubious impressions, and the sky is overcast. The cloud cover lying there in endless dusk. What was that? After several attempts... There it is again. Radio static, maybe. After several attempts of trying to contact Sarah, the frequency remains silent, the talkie emitting a steady whine of radio static. Oh, the battery might be dead, maybe. You change the 9-volt battery and replace the cover, hoping it will fix things. It doesn't. You helplessly watch as the hours tick by, the living room clock breaching the silence like the ongoing rain. Is that our living room clock? That's a nice clock. It's
Hello?
7 p.m.
Jacob, are you there?
Oh, Sarah. I'm here, Sarah. I tried contacting you several times. Where were you? I was here. In fact, I also tried getting a hold of you repeatedly, but without success. I thought maybe we had lost the connection. I think I have it figured out. It's currently 7 p.m. Maybe that's our window of opportunity, communication-wise. But I'm not sure of anything right now, although it's precisely at the same time yesterday when we had our first conversation. So it's time-based. It starts at 7 p.m. Interesting. I wonder what time it ends. Maybe midnight? Oh, it all ended at 7:45. So it all ended around 7:45, which appears to be the cutoff point. At this time of the year, it seems to coincide with the moment when the sun is fading behind the mountains, right at twilight when there's a hint of purple on the horizon, right before the stars come out. Maybe there's something magnetic about this particular moment. I have no idea. In any case, if the same thing happens tonight, it means we have about 45 minutes to talk. So there's really like no time to waste, especially the fact that we can't even talk for the entire day. We have to be able to figure out everything. We have to tell Sarah what's going to happen in like 4 days. That's more than enough time for you to give me an explanation. Besides, I think this particular joke has run its course. It hasn't been very funny. I'm not impressed. So Sarah's not happy. So we're letting her know that we found the box. Nice try, Jacob. You don't give up easily, do you? Okay, you found the box. Tell me, what was in it? A picture of you. You're very pretty. You're blonde. Both is accurate. Let's make sure she knows that like we actually know physical characteristics of her, not just, oh, you're very pretty, because that's subjective. But if we tell her that she is blonde and has green eyes, that is 100% factual. You just sent shivers down my spine. Okay, what else? Now we're going to tell her about the note that she wrote on the back. Nothing else, just an inscription. Hello, Jacob. See you tomorrow. Then you mention Rasputin.
Wow. Bloody hell, Jacob. It's impossible.
That's what you thought. I have a hard time believing it myself. No matter how many times I turn it over in my mind, it just doesn't make sense to me. No one could have written that note or placed it upstairs in the attic for me to find. It's simply impossible. There has to be some kind of rational explanation. You know, although some people have claimed they're traveled through time, none of these accounts seem credible to me. And what about us? Would anyone believe our story? I mean, if you tried telling someone about our conversation? Probably not, no. In fact, I'm not even sure if I believe it myself. It certainly won't measure up with the Occam's razor principle. I don't know what that principle is. Occam's razor, what's that? I don't know. You're gonna have to. It's a philosophical principle. It's not. It's a philosophical principle. Reasoning. A principle that states that the simplest assumption should always be preferred. In other words, why resort to a complex explanation if a basic account can solve the problem? I still don't understand how this principle applies here. Well, in our present situation, I believe only two possible explanations can be put forward. Either I'm chatting with a girl who lives in 1988, 30 years removed from today, or I've gone completely mad, and it's not your brother who hears voices, it's me. Right, so that's very possible. It's very possible that Jacob could have gone insane. But how would he know of Sarah in, what was it, 1988? How would he even know of Sarah? How would he even hear her voice prior to doing any research about her? The second solution would be far more probable, although very disturbing. But what about the photo? How do you even explain the picture then? I'm hallucinating? I don't know. Hallucinating, maybe. I mean, there's been times when people have hallucinated physical objects, physical things, physical anything. Assuming that I hear voices, I could also be seeing things as well. So you think my photo is a mere hallucination? Perhaps yes, but my mind is spinning right now. I really have no idea. You grab the photo and stare at it intently. Indeed, Sarah is right. How to explain it? How to explain the message on the back of it? Above all, how to explain having found an article that speaks of her murder and outcome happening 4 days from now. Jacob, are you still there? Yes, I was thinking. You're right. It's not possible. There must be some kind of logical explanation, a reason we just don't understand at this point. But reason for what? For our conversations, the purpose our paths have crossed. You might be right. I don't know, but what could it be? I think it's for me to save you, Sarah. I think I need to save you from your assassination. It may be coincidental. I think I'm supposed to help. Oh, this might end us though. This might maybe we shouldn't go into the whole you're gonna die in a few days. Maybe we should have like eased our way into that. She might cut communication off with us. I didn't even think about that until after I responded. I think I'm supposed to help you. Help me. Help me with what? We're stuck in a different timeline. It seems as though I can leave behind an object from the past, as in the attic, but it can't work in reverse. Right, so we can't leave anything for her. Listen, Sarah, I have something to tell you, but you need to brace yourself. This isn't going to be easy. I'm already scared. Just spit it out. I have a feeling she's going to cut communication off with us. Fair enough. But before I tell you, don't panic, okay? We'll fix it. I promise. Tell me already. You'll have an accident. You'll be murdered. Should we just go straight truth? Straight to the truth? Like, someone's going to kill you? Or should we ease into it with an accident? But if we ease into it with an accident, I mean, that's kind of lying to her. Let's see what happens. In 4 days from now, if we don't do anything to change your destiny, a terrible thing is going to happen to you. Terrible like what? Be specific. I want to know. You'll be murdered. I'm sorry, Sarah. Your body was found on April 29th on Ferguson Bridge. You were shot at close range.
Shit. How did you know that?
I found a news article. I did an internet search. Look, I did an internet search. I understand you don't know what an internet is, but that's what I did. I did an internet search and I came across an article about the crime. Internet again. What's that? Internet. A little bit of a typo. Internet with it. Oh, so it wasn't a typo. It was a typo for her, but not for the actual game. They actually did that on purpose. Internet with an N. It's like a global or giant library, a huge global database. And where is it located? Don't make me believe this world library is situated close to our pathetic little village. It's more of a virtual library which can be accessed through a computer. Right, she has no idea what a computer is. Yes, or a phone. A phone, really? You have access to a library through your phone? Yes, that we do live in the future. We might not have flying cars, but we have all these other things. It's complicated. Can't you explain it to me? The internet, quite simply, is an information network that connects computers all over the world. What does that have to do with the phone? You're a strange bird, Sarah. I don't think we have time to talk about this right now. I just told you you're about to be murdered. Okay. What kind of information do you need? I have no idea who would do such a thing. You'll have to trust me. If I'm wrong, it might cost you a couple of hours of your time. But if I'm right, it will cost you everything. Your life, in fact. Sarah? Is it 7:45? No. If that's true, there's no guarantee that you can help me. We're 30 years apart, Jacob. I won't force you. Do you have a better idea? I don't think she does have a better idea, but I'm going to ask her. If so, I'm all ears. Okay, I guess I'm in. Then, what would you like to know? You could start by telling me about the different people in your life. The people you know. I could, but why? Well, the majority of homicides are perpetrated by a member of a person's own entourage. We should start from there. Jacob, believe me, there's no serial killer within my circle of friends. Please, Sarah, let me try and help you. Let me try and help you. Alright, if you insist. Where do you want me to start? Better yet, who do you want me to start with? Your mother, your father? Let's start with the father. You start by telling me a little bit about your father. I'd rather not talk about him. Charles is dead, so there's nothing left to say. Seems sad. Called him Charles. Maybe she's angry. You seem sad. Maybe she's not sad. Well, I guess so. But most of all, I'm furious. So she's angry. He's a bastard. I know you shouldn't talk like that about the departed, but I don't care. He abandoned us, all of us, for no reason, no explanation at all. It was Kevin who found him that morning hanging in a corner of the garage, dangling like a listless rag doll. It should have been me, the one who found him there. But that day, Jeff came to pick me up in order to drive me to school, so I didn't go through the garage as usual. When I got home from school that night, I knew right away that not that my father was dead, but that something terrible had happened. Two police cars and an ambulance were parked in front of the house, and Sheriff Johnson prevented me from entering the premises. My brother was sitting on the lawn curled up, his head buried between his knees and his hands clasped on his head. He was crying profusely. His whimpering sounded like that of a wounded dog. My mother was there as well, frozen in silence, screaming on the inside. I'm really sorry, Sarah. You still there? I zoned out for a second, talking about this awakened emotions I had long since silenced. What a bastard. I understand your anger. Look, I understand. I get it. It can't be easy, but one day, maybe you can forgive him. He killed himself. He just abandoned us, Jacob. I'll never be able to forgive him for that. He's a coward. He didn't even leave a note, not even a thought, nothing. No, Jacob. He's totally dead to me. I'll never be able to forgive him for that. Listen, do you mind if we change the subject? Yeah, tell me about your mom. Really? My mother? I'm sorry, Jacob, but this whole thing is like a three-ring circus, but all right, I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about her. I don't have a whole lot to say about my mother. Her name is Mary Williams, and she's an alcoholic. Ever since Dad passed away, things haven't been the same. She hardly speaks anymore. She just spends most of her time looking out the window. She's staring into space aimlessly, as though expecting him to return. It all seems so far away now, a lifetime ago, just a blank stare nowadays, no laughter whatsoever. I had a little choice but to slowly take over. Then they both needed my care, my mom and my little brother, especially my brother. I even left school and was anointed queen of the manor. Has she ever been violent? Do you trust her? Man, these are tough questions to be asking Sarah, given her experience with her mother and father. Alcoholism could make somebody violent, so maybe that's a good question. Violent or impulsive? My mother? She only slapped me once. It was on Christmas Eve, 3 or maybe 4 years ago. We were going to church and she wanted me to wear that little hat in order to complement my outfit. I don't really remember why. I was probably in a bad mood, but I suggested she get her head examined. That hats were for old biddies, I told her. So you insulted her. I messed up in trying to give it back to her. My gesture was a little too violent and the bonnet hit her in the face. Today, it's hard for me to imagine that she could have gotten that angry. It was prior to my father passed away. Oh, it was prior to when her father passed away. That's interesting. Before she became an automaton. If you're contemplating, even for a second, that my mother could have caused my demise, especially with a gun, you're barking up the wrong tree, Sherlock. We can't rule out any hypothesis. I'm sorry. Let's just apologize for that. I mean, I can't see the mother doing that either. Maybe I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I still have plenty of cutting material to work with. And when it comes to my family, I'm the only one left who still has all their marbles. All your marbles. Let me remind you, you're currently having a conversation with a man from 2019. Yes, you're probably right. Maybe I'm the wackiest in the family after all. You're in good company. I've been wondering if I haven't gone mad myself. Perhaps you don't even exist. And all the while, I've been talking to myself through a demented walkie-talkie. Who knows? It doesn't matter. It feels good talking. Look, either way, it feels good talking with you. In any case, what can I say? If I'm losing it, I don't have much to lose anyway. You know, I really wish I could speak with my dad right now. He was a huge admirer. He was a huge admirer of H.G. Wells. He loved the book The Time Machine. I really wish I could talk to him. Jacob, you just said something that puzzles me. Why would you say that, or why would you say you don't have much to lose? It's complicated. We don't have time to talk about me right. We don't really have time to talk about me right now. That's for sure. Time is definitely of the essence. We have plenty of time, Jacob. Either way, if I don't go to Ferguson Bridge on Friday, I won't be murdered, right? Maybe. Can't be sure of anything. If someone wants to hurt you, they'll find another way to carry out their plans. And you can't stop death. Death comes for everyone. And if it doesn't happen at the Ferguson Bridge, it might happen somewhere. I mean, it's like it's like the butterfly effect. I mean, it's going to happen. It just, will it happen at the bridge or will it happen somewhere else? I guess you're right. And your father, is he still with you? No, it's been almost 10 years now. He passed away when I was 21. Sorry to hear that. I guess it's something we share in common. We're both fatherless. And how about your mom? Is she still alive? No, for a while now. 5 years after my father died, my mother joined him. Breast cancer. That's sad. You're too young to be an orphan. Indeed. Let's talk about something else. Indeed. I won't make you say it. It's all very sad. When it rains, it pours. So if I understand you correctly, we never found my killer. Never. Nope. What about the murder weapon? We never found it either. Ballistics revealed it was a World War II pistol, a Luger. That's all I know. Do you know anyone who owns a similar weapon? I don't know anything about weapons, let alone their names. Tell me, where did I get it? I don't understand your question. Where did you get it? Like, where did you get shot, maybe? The bullet, where was it hit? Ah, yeah, in the heart. That's what I was thinking she was asking.
I see. I believe you.
Interesting. You do believe me. About what, exactly? Our place in time, this impossible situation, I believe you. I think despite common sense, all this might be true. I don't know why you're here, or if you're supposed to save me, but I believe you. This is good news. Why is that good news? Well, if you believe me, it will be a lot easier for the two of us to discover who did this to you. Does that mean you believe me as well? Yes. I mean, I can't imagine who or with anyone would craft such an elaborate hoax. That said, if this is a hoax, nobody dies. But if it isn't, the outcome changes everything. You're going to die, Sarah. I guess I'm going with Pascal on this one. I'm taking the bet, even in the absence of hardcore evidence. Who's this Pascal? It's a philosophical argument. Blaise Pascal was a mathematician in the 17th century. Anyway, the argument was that everyone has an interest in believing in God, whether he exists or not. If God doesn't exist, the believer and the non-believer lose nothing, or almost nothing. On the other hand, if God does exist, the believer gains paradise while the non-believer is sentenced to hell. Right. I remember hearing about that from our priest during Bible study. Does that mean you also believe in God? Sure does sound like it. For the most part, but I'm having trouble these days. I'm wavering a little. Even so, I'm a believer. At least I try to be. In times past, I felt that way, but not anymore. If God does exist, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure I want to know him. I understand. I understand your point of view. There's a lot of pain out there. You see, when a cell in your body dies or a new cell is born, it may appear unfair or arbitrary, at least if so far as the cell is concerned. I mean, a cell isn't privy to the greater plan. It just cannot see the entire body. I think our life is a bit like the life of the cells. We're too limited to be able to appreciate the bigger picture. It's like, it's a little like hardship. You know, those times when even though your world seems to be crashing all around you, in hindsight, it often makes us stronger. And being in a crash that rips your life apart is something I know a lot about. I never saw it that way before. Jacob, I'm not sure if I fully understand why a crash. Did something happen to you? My wife is dead. Something bad happened. Look, my wife died. And the baby. So sorry, Jacob. I didn't know. How, I mean, how did it happen? Stupid accident. Wrong place at the wrong time. A drunk hit us at high speed, and there you have it. In my case, a few bumps and a bruises and a bad leg. But in my wife's case, I misspoke. I mean, I was burying her ashes. That's a relief. I was beginning to think you had some very weird customs in the future.
Oh, damn. Can you wait for me a moment, Jacob?
Don't make it too long. What's happening? We only got till 7:45. It's Kevin. He's in crisis mode. I'll be right back. Oh, that's right. Her brother's name is Kevin, not Billy White. But I still think that maybe maybe Billy White's the one. Maybe Billy White's the one that kills Sarah. Maybe that's how we're all connected. Oh, I bet that's what it is. I bet somehow Billy White is involved in Sarah's murder. I bet we're connected by that. I forgot that the brother's name was Kevin though. She's gone for a long time. I wonder how many minutes these dots consist of. I'm back. Sorry about that, Jacob. Kevin lost his chest again. Lost his chest. Like he, what? Lost his chest. Oh, like a box or like a chest. It was a gift from Charles, our father. He cherishes that chest like a relic. When he loses it or when anyone approaches it, it causes him great consternation. It really stresses him out. He received this little coffer for his 11th birthday about 5 years ago, a miniature replica of a treasure chest. Inside, Charles placed several treasure maps there, and it always led to a small surprise buried behind our house, adjacent to the little forest area. Every once in a while, Charles would arrive with a new map that led to all kinds of small things, like a pack of chewing gum or a plastic model airplane. It was their game, and Kevin guards this chest with zeal. I'm pretty sure it still contains a few trinkets in it, but I'm not sure what's in there. If I come near it, he has a temper tantrum. And since he always carries the key around his neck, I have no way of knowing what's inside. You should check its contents. Are you curious? Should you check its contents? Aren't you curious as to what might be inside this chest? I'd be a little curious. Of the contents? No, not really. He protects it so fiercely, but I sometimes get the impression that he's hiding something. Something like what? Not exactly sure. It isn't all that big, but still it bothers me a little. I sometimes wonder after all this time if he's been using it for drugs or something. Does he take drugs? No, not that I'm aware of. It's probably nothing. You know, schizophrenics often do strange things for no apparent reason. But trust me, he would never do anything to hurt me. Besides, he's never been violent with anyone. I hope so. Can you tell me about some of the other people in your life? What do you mean? Friends, boyfriends, acquaintances? I have some stats for you as well. 80% of homicides are committed by relatives, so your inner circle warrants much closer scrutiny. It appears you know a lot about crime. Well, I'm a writer. No more than anyone else. I mean, he knew more than he knew. I didn't know most homicides, 80% of homicides were committed by relatives. I didn't know that. but I guess I'm a writer, so maybe it's the reason why I know certain things. But Jacob's a writer for. Is it detective stories that he writes, or just in general? I'm a writer. It serves me well in my profession to research things, creating a believable story. I see. As far as my immediate circle is concerned, there isn't much to say. Since I left school, I hardly see anyone anymore. There's Jeff, though. Who's Jeff? Who's this Jeff? I do detect a hint of jealousy. Very funny. Not jealous. Maybe a little bit. Forgive me. When I'm nervous, I make silly jokes. Regarding Jeff, it's complicated. He was my first boyfriend. I've known him since I was little, and prior to my father's death, we were inseparable. You see, around here, in a village of 2,000 inhabitants, everyone knows each other, and he's a nice boy. At least to me he is. 2,000 inhabitants. It grew significantly in the last 30 years. Today, Oakland has over 15,000 residents in it. Now I understand why you thought Oakland was nothing but a hick town. Oakland with so many newcomers, I find that hard to believe. So this Jeff, he is nice. And about this Jeff character, you say he's nice to you, or are you implying that that's not always the case? He's hot-tempered. A few weeks ago, he busted a guy's nose over a stupid argument. From what I heard, the guy owed him a lousy $5. And you don't see each other anymore. I left him after Charles died. Simply put, my life got complicated. Too complicated for love stories. But lately, he's been back to see me. He came around 3 or 4 times last week. He comes by claiming he just wants to chat a little, but I think he wants to get back together. What makes you think that? It doesn't interest you? Why wouldn't you want to get back together with Jeff? I mean, what, does it not interest you to get back with Jeff? I don't know. In another life, maybe. The way things are today, to tell the truth, I don't have time for a story like this. In any case, he invited me to a restaurant, not just any hamburger joint, but a really nice place in Beddington. We're supposed to go there the day after tomorrow for my birthday. It's your birthday? It's your birthday on Sunday? Yes, I'll be 24 on April 28th, and she dies April 29th. Maybe it is Jeff. Maybe that hot-tempered, the hot-headed Jeff is the key in this restaurant. Is it Chez DuPont? Oh, it might be. How did you know? It's the best restaurant in Bennington. Do you plan on going? This is where I was going. Oh, it is Chez DuPont. I forgot about it. Chez DuPont is where we were headed with our wife when that car hit us. Our stories are so similar, so eerily similar. I mean, like, not exactly, obviously, but so very eerily similar. You mean the night when, yes, that night, Emily had invited me there for my birthday. Talk about a coincidence. This is insane. And you plan to go there. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm supposed to give him my answer by tomorrow. You know, he barely makes $3 an hour, so an outing like this is a lot of money for him. Sarah, according to the timeline, nothing will happen to you before Monday. So I don't think you're in any immediate danger, but a word of caution. An admirer with a violent temper who's trying to seduce you. I'd think twice about having dinner with him. In fact, as of now, he's at the top of my suspect list. He's probably the murderer. Just be careful. I'm not going to say that Jeff is the murderer, but just be careful. I will, I promise. Whatever you do, don't upset him during dinner. If anything, maybe even do some investigative work. You know, get him to talk a little. I'm not even sure if I want to go, and I don't want to give him any false expectations. He's certainly ill-mannered. I'll grant you that, but rather nice when you get to know him. We're almost out of time. Quickly, are there any other people in your immediate circle? A friend, a neighbor, anyone? Neighbors, yes. Both Scott and Kelly. Who are Scott and Kelly? A retired couple, the Kellermans. They live in this little red and white house to the right of mine. Scott's wife used to babysit me in good old days. Her name is Kelly, and she's quite nice. Nowadays, she often comes by just to bring me a meal. I think she feels sorry for me. She's trying to convince me to go back to school. We chat sometimes. She's a teacher here at St. Thomas Elementary School for most of her life, and so she takes these things to heart. Anyway, she finally retired in order to take care of her husband, Scott. He's the former village sheriff, but he stepped down a couple of years ago after getting sick, real sick. I think he might have cancer. At least that's the scuttlebutt, but I'm not sure. I never dared to ask. But what I'm sure of is this. He hardly ever leaves the house anymore. It's been at least 6 months since I've seen him at least. Tell me, is there a house still there? The red and white one? I'm afraid not. Red and white house? I'm afraid not. Although indeed there's a house here now, but it's more of a modern job with a stone veneer. I see. You know, it was Scott who built this house when they got married, and I'm pretty sure Scott isn't with us anymore, but I still have a little hope for Kelly. She'd be over 85 today, and who knows, she may still be alive. It's indeed possible. Very, very possible. You're very nice, Jacob. Of course I am. Thank you. I'm not sure why you find me nice, but thank you. Even though you don't know me that well, I can truly sense your concern for me. I can hear it in your voice. And I just want you to know I'm truly sorry about what happened to you. Had I known you then, I think we could have been friends. Not the fake kind. I mean real friends. We could have been friends. Like, not just friends, but friends. I think so too. It's crazy what happens to us. And no matter what happens to me on Saturday, I'm really happy to have known you. She's really taken this in stride. Like, I don't know what I would do if I found out, like, I had a few days left to live and somebody was telling me that this is how it's going to happen, and, you know, somebody from the future or whatever. But I don't know how I would take that. Like I know I'm going to be gone in a few days, but I'm happy to know this random futuristic person, and I feel like I'd be taking it differently. Nothing will happen to you on Saturday. Look, I'm happy to. I'm really glad that our paths crossed, or that we crossed paths. I have so many questions about the future. It's all so surreal. I'd like to know a little bit more. It isn't safe. What would you like to know? I'll tell you everything you want to know. So no flying cars, right? I find that very disappointing. So what's different then? Well, obviously we have internet and cell phones, and like phones that are not attached to the wall or anything like that. I think my answer will be even more disappointing. In fact, there's nothing really new to report on. We still have television, although the picture is clearer and the special effects are better. But it all basically remained the same. When it comes to transportation, cars are more aerodynamic and have more technology, but it's all pretty much the same old song and dance. That's not entirely true. I mean, technology in 30 years from 88 or 87 to 2019 is vastly different. In terms of medicine, we haven't cured cancer or diabetes, true, or anything else for that matter. Apart from that, the most notable change is probably the internet and cell phones. What's a cell phone? Today, everyone carries their phones wherever they go. It's a phone with a screen that's connected to the internet. People have access to all kinds of information now, anywhere, anytime. If I'm following you correctly, it's like having the Library of Alexandria in your pocket. The Library of Alexandria is nothing compared to the internet. The information is gathered on pages called websites. To give you an idea, there's over 1 billion websites connected today. It sounds like an absolute revelation, isn't it? Indeed, but it also comes with a dark side. Young people now spend 36 hours a week in front of their screens, the equivalent of an entire work week, and they use it more for entertainment purposes rather than for learning anything. As a result, they're more depressed and more addicted than ever, and not just young people. It seems nowadays all ages or groups have to have their little plastic screens in front of them. And as I'm reading this, I'm sitting here going like, it's so true, and I am currently in front of my little plastic or little screen here and doing the, doing this game. And for what? For entertainment purposes. 36 hours per week? That's absurd. On the whole, the world is still a long way away from any kind of civilized utopia, believe me. Well, at least the human race is still intact. That's encouraging. No nuclear war, it seems, has destroyed the planet as a whole, and we haven't been pummeled by an asteroid, at least not yet. So maybe it's not the future that I hoped for, but it's not the one that I feared either. That's already not half bad. I guess you're right. I don't share your I suppose you're right. I wonder if we're the first humans to have such a thing happen to them. A time warp separating two people by 30 years. We can't know for sure. Probably not. I mean, maybe, but there's no way to know for sure. We probably wouldn't believe anybody if they told us. There's probably somebody out there telling somebody right now, and they're like, you're psychotic, and we're putting you in a padded room right now. We can't know for sure. It might even have happened more often than we think. It just doesn't get reported. Who would want to report such a thing? You'd be taken for a fool. You're right. Do you think it's fate? I think so. I think it is fate. Probably, moreover, if fate isn't involved, then synchronicity seems crazy to me. Synchro what? That's exactly what I was thinking. Synchronicity. It's a term that describes a simultaneous conjuncture of two or more events without apparent connection. In short, it's a theory which states that certain coincidences are too improbable to be the rest of mere chance, or the result of mere chance, and by the same token, have no rational explanation. It's like receiving a call straight out of the blue from someone you haven't seen in ages, but it happens at the precise moment when you're thinking of them. Damn, I should have brought my notebook. So, Professor Jacob, when do you plan on giving the exam? Jacob does seem very, very freaking smart. He clearly uses his cell phone to learn things, not not just for entertainment. What I'm saying, Sarah, is this: that the odds I found this talkie while digging in the yard, a reality that allows us to communicate through space-time, is way beyond the synchronicity of bistro anecdotes. It must be happening for a reason. Perhaps it is destiny. I envy your optimism, Jacob. I like the concept. I'm just not buying it. Synchronicity is just a fancy way of not using the word magic. Sarah's like, no, no, it's not synchronicity. It's magic. And this is what we need to call it from now on. A part of me envies you, Jacob, really. But where you see destiny, I see a chaotic maze of disconnected events, and that makes me sad. Oh, that's... For synchronicity to actually exist, there would have to be a meaning, an intention of some kind. When it comes to my life, I'm totally incapable of finding any kind of meaning. And if there's an intention, a greater plan, screw the messenger. You say you believe in God and destiny. I guess it's complementary. If you believe in the clockmaker, I guess it goes without saying that you believe in the clock. I no longer believe in either. When I was little, I looked at the stars and was convinced that I was protected, that someone or something up there was watching over me. Today, I don't see any of it, and I feel lonely, so lonely. Look, I'm here, Sarah. 30 years apart, but I'm here. That's kind of you, Jacob, but we both know this isn't going to last. Whether or not I'll be dead in 3 days, these conversations surely have a time limit on them. I don't know the rules or how long this breach in the space-time continuum is going to last, but I'm pretty sure it's not eternal. That's an anomaly. And anomalies never last. I'll stay with you as long as possible.
You know, Jacob, I like you.
Do you like me or do you like me? Because there's a big difference. Because I feel like I don't just like you. I like you. And I want to help you. I doubt you can do anything. But the way you can give me Jeff's full... by the way, can you give me Jeff's full name? We're gonna search up Jeff. Jeff Johnson. Why? To do some research. For research purposes. I'll do some research. If Jeff is still alive, it may be possible to trace him. It's so strange. I hope he's okay. I'll give you more details tomorrow. In the meantime, please be careful. We'll talk soon. What if tomorrow never comes? If the breach closes? Stay away from the little bridge. I'll be there tomorrow. Look, I'll be there tomorrow. You don't have to worry about that. I promise.
All right. I really hope you come back.
I will. Absolutely. I promise. I promise you, and I always keep my promises. You sit there for a long time thinking thoughtfully, staring at the clock. Like the empty space all around you, it seems as though under certain conditions, time, just like space, can be traversed. This is true, at least for radio waves. Fading light catches the back portion of the house. A light mist now slides between the trees, and the last of the rays fall by the wayside, the call of the coming evening. Emily's resting place alone among the silver pines is blanketed in the ashen quietude between heaven and earth, lying there peacefully. Deep down, grief is like a dagger entrenched in your heart. But it doesn't kill you. You simply can't remove it. You can only wait for the flesh around it to heal. An old picture, a simple word, and the dagger begins digging again. and the pain you thought subsides returns just like in the beginning. You can't seem to stop the flow of tears from coming, and you're not sure if it's sadness or anger anymore. You slowly come back to your senses, wiping your eyes with the back of your sleeve. You turn on your computer and realize you've been in the dark for a while. The light radiating from the screen hurts your eyes. The entire house is plunged into an almost eerie blackness, the moonlight creeping in from the windows. Research, time travel. After consulting a few conspiracy sites and a popular mechanics article, you come across an essay on quantum entanglement. You don't understand the scientific language well, but it says that it could revolutionize our conception of time. And that casualty, the theory that future events might well influence the past does exist. So future events affect the past that's already happened. That's interesting. Some scientists even believe that quantum entanglement could, at least theoretically, allow messages to be sent into the past. Physicist John Kramer from the University of Washington makes the following observation. If we were able to send messages into the past, it would bring to light a new chapter in human history. It would change our civilization to an unimaginable degree. Unlike the notion of space or the concept of time, the notion of space-time has difficulty in anchoring itself as a physical reality in the general population. Time and space always tend to be separate, and time to be seen only as a concept that has no physical reality. Radio waves, like those emitted by a walkie-talkie, travel at the speed of light. It seems that under some mysterious circumstances, they can cross not only space, but travel through time as well. Research, Jeff Johnson. Nothing seems to be really coming up about Jeff Johnson. You come across a New York Times article, which was written about a week ago. Read the article. Oh, can we zoom in on this? I don't think we can. April 15th, 2019. Anti-death penalty demonstrators protest in front of Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. A crowd of demonstrators gathered outside the White House yesterday to protest the killing of Jeff Johnson. The execution is scheduled for Saturday, April 31st. Johnson had been convicted for the murder of his wife, Lisa Hall, shot at close range in 2002? No way! Could he possibly be the one that did that to Sarah as well? The crime matches. The MO is there. The accused pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder charges, but his appeal did not convince the jury. The International Criminal Court in New York State rendered a guilty verdict in less than 24 hours. At Ethan Moore Prison in Bedington, New York, the 49-year-old has been awaiting sentencing. He's been there on death row for more than 15 years now. There's Jeff Johnson. Jeff Johnson was sentenced on February 21st, 2004. He was condemned to die by lethal injection. The method of execution is presented as one of the most humane means of being put to death. This is because inmates are given a sedative that is supposed to quickly put them to sleep. However, this method is increasingly subject to controversy. Michael Lee Wilson, an inmate executed in early 2014, said these last terrible words: "My whole body is on fire." There's no longer any doubt Jeff Johnson is a convicted murderer, and he plans on eliminating Sarah. Maybe. I mean, that's the way it looks. The story seems to be going in that direction. He will be executed in 5 days. Oh, so he hasn't even been executed yet. So did it say when his time of execution was? I don't remember seeing it. So it did say he's been there for more than 15 years now. It's just saying that he's going to be executed in 5 days. So it says that now, so maybe that was part of the article. Interesting. So the MO definitely fits Jeff Johnson. I mean, that's if he truly did kill his wife, Lisa. That's truly if he did shoot Lisa in the heart at close range. I mean, that fits what happened to Sarah. So I don't know. It's interesting. So now do we tell Sarah? See, that's the thing. What if we tell Sarah not to go to dinner with Jeff Johnson because we know Jeff Johnson's violent future now? And what if she doesn't go to dinner with So if we tell Sarah that to not go to dinner with Jeff Johnson, and because we told her not to go to dinner, she doesn't go because of what we tell her about what's going on with Jeff in the future, and that causes Jeff to lose his temper and take out Sarah. I mean, what if that's how this all happens? What if that's how it happens? I mean, the game wants us to tell Sarah not to go to dinner. And if we tell Sarah not to go, Jeff's going to get upset. And this is what causes Sarah's death. Now I'm in like this conundrum. Like, I don't know what we should do. Like, I know we're going to have to give her something. I know we're going to tell her to do something. I know we're either going to tell her to go or not to go. And I feel like that's definitely going to play a factor. But there's only one way to find out. And that's going to be in day 3 in the next video. Hope you guys are currently enjoying this story of Talkie. It's very interesting. I'm learning a lot about space-time continuum. and about time travel. I would love to find like a walkie-talkie somewhere and talk to somebody in the past. Like I feel like that would be great. I take it back. I want to talk to somebody in the future. So maybe I know where to place my bets. or maybe what I should invest in, right? So maybe that's what I'd rather talk to somebody in the future. That way they can give me some ideas of what to do to better my current situation, maybe. But then again, if I'm talking to somebody in the future, maybe they're telling me that I'm going to die in 5 days. And maybe I just want to find out how I can survive. Fuck the money. I just need to live. Hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are, hit that like button. Let me know what your theories are in the comments below about Jeff Johnson. And do you think Jeff Johnson was actually one that did this? Or do you think that we are going to be telling Sarah not to do something, not to go to dinner, and then which ends up leading to her death? I don't know. Let me know what your theories are in the comments down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and join the Tethered. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, I guess. I love you all, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.